What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Greenleaf Season 4, Episode 9. So, yeah. Lot going on. Shouts out to the subscriber that gave me the information about who writes Lady May's words. It's the creator of the show and the head writer, according to them. So shouts out, because like I said, honey, they better not never stop writing Lady May's words. And it seemed to be some controversy about how many more episodes were left, but they said at the end of this episode, they said the season finale is next week. So this is it, y'all. So look, now I don't know if they're gonna come back. Like, I don't know if they're gonna do like come back in a couple of months kind of thing, but they said it's the season finale. So neither here nor there. We start this episode off with the meeting with the deacon board. We have Grace and Judy and Connie meeting with Karissa. Corinne's grandmother. Lord have mercy, all these people. And she says in front of them that she's going to vote yes in favor of the improving the deacon board thing. But I feel like she's lying. I feel like Lady May, they got a behind the scenes plan going on. So I was a little curious about why certain things went down, but neither here nor there. Because Grace, when they left, her mother called Grace, and Grace was like, yeah, she just left. Yeah, she said she was going to vote yes. Cool. Like, Lady May didn't seem to be upset by it, like it was all part of the plan. Then she said, well, your father's going over to talk to Connie. He promised me, he promised me that he wouldn't bring up the blackmail piece of it. He's going to appeal to her senses or whatever. Knowing good and well, Connie is not about to vote, dealing nothing with the Greenleafs. I don't even know, no plan that they include should ever include Connie. Because Connie is just not seeing it for y'all. Like, she just don't like y'all, period. And so, but I feel like they didn't need, this part sort of confused me, because I was like, do y'all need Connie's vote? Like, you're not going to get Connie. Focus your time and energy on the other members of the board. But neither here nor there. We'll get there. Then after all of that, then Phil comes rolling up into Grace's office and basically lets Grace know, look, I know that you lied to the police about your son. And if you don't step down, I'm going to tell the police. Like, he just said he ain't going to say nothing to Bob. He's going to go to the police about it. And so, of course, Grace goes to confront Charity, because who else would have told him? Charity playing dumb, like she don't know nothing. And Grace was like, I really hope this is worth it. Like, whatever it is that you're supposed to be getting out of this, I hope it's worth it, because you're ruining lives. Don't have nothing to do with me. You're ruining his life. You're ruining innocent people's lives. And it shook Charity a little bit, but Charity stuck by her guns and was like, I don't know what you're talking about, Grace. I don't know nothing about this, Grace. So Bishop goes to confront Connie, and like I said, Connie wasn't trying to hear it. She wasn't listening. She wasn't seeing it for him. But he did exactly what May told him not to do. He told her he knew about the about the payment. And he basically blackmailed her and told her, if you don't vote in favor of the church, we're going to go and tell everybody what you did. And I was like, oh, Lord, Bishop, May told you not to say anything. So later on, he ends up telling her that he said it. And she's really upset. She said, what is it that May got a little discernment going on in this piece right here. And she said, what is it that you don't understand? She said, what we gain temporarily in the blackmail, we will lose in the long run. And you have just basically opened up a can of worms that is going to cost us more than we will gain. I said, oh, Lord. And then she retires to her prayer closet, because she said, I thought I was done for the night, but baby, I got some praying to do. I'll see you in the morning. I said, dang, in the morning? She just going to sleep in the prayer closet tonight? Anyway, she ain't all the way wrong, but anyway, we'll get to that. So then we see Miss Julie rolling around the church. Judy, whatever the child name is. Something wrong with her. Something just ain't right with that woman. I won't be surprised to find out later on that her character has spent time in a mental institution, because something is not right with this woman. She comes off a little off. Like, seriously, like, don't she? A little off. Now, back down to the house. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me finish that up. No, because I'm going to forget. Karissa and Jacob. Karissa is still trying to get Jacob to find out who's going to inherit the house. And Jacob told her, I'm not going to ask my mother. I feel like that's a little crass. And that's a little, like, I'm not asking her about the house. I'm not asking about who's inheriting the house. And she said, well, Jacob, it's not like we sitting around waiting for somebody to die. We just need to know. Like, it's, because maybe they can buy us out. Because I'm ready to get up out this house. We need more money. We need more capital. If we are ever going to get up from under this house. So, Jacob tells her, no, if you want to know, you ask her. Like, I'm not asking my mother. If you want to know, you ask my mama yourself. And Jacob has a meeting with, Dorian, the basketball player. And, he tells her, if you want to know, you find out yourself. Now, as soon as he rolls up out of there, who come calling her? Fernando. She don't take the call, honey, but he's still lurking. Now, down to the church, what I was going to say about Julie. Julie is trying to get the bylaws of the church, honey. There's something she wants to know. Of course, she wants to understand how this whole deacon board things work. And Corinne is trying to, hold her off. She has asked Corinne 3 different times about the plans, the bylaws of the church. So Corinne is doing a good job of trying to keep, hold her back. But eventually Corinne gonna have to hand those daggone bylaws over, honey. And excuse me, she got Corinne looking for tickets, honey, to Amy Grant. I remember Amy Grant. We used to do a liturgical dance to Amy Grant when I was in middle school, honey. Anyway, that's old school. Emmanuel. She had the song called Emmanuel. Anyway, moving on. So, she is camped out in Phil's office, and basically, she's trying to find out what is it that you see in her that you don't see in me? How long have you and Charity been dating? Like trying to get all the inside scoop on the whole Charity thing. And he said, well, actually, I have a lot in common. And he starts going down the list of the things that they have in common. She said, yeah, but she's black. And I guess you're at a point in your life now where you just need to be with a black woman. Is that what it is? Like you're going black now? I was like, oh, Lord. She said, invite me to dinner. I want to get to know her better. I mean, if we're going to basically get daddy on your side, you're going to need me in your corner. And I want to get to know her better. So invite me to dinner. And I want steak. And then they talked a little bit about Grace being over the church. And he was like, well, basically he was letting her know that he was confident that Grace ain't going to be running nobody's church. And she said, why are you so confident that Grace won't be in charge? Like, how do you know that Daddy's plan is not to put Grace in charge of this new edifice we're building? He said, just call it an intuition. I said, intuition. Okay. So Jacob ends up going down to meet with the basketball player. He's about to open up his shop, Buckets, I believe it is, his sports bar, honey. And he got a whole different attitude. He's basically real apologetic. Jacob's real apologetic. Jacob was like, look, man, I was in the doghouse. I was out of line. I was just trying to get a win, for my wife so I could get out the doghouse. He said, look, I was in my feelings too, but I talked to my people. I talked to the GM. I need to get off the bench. And they told me that this school situation really isn't a bad idea. So look, here's a check for, Excel Academy. And Jacob opens up the check, and Jacob is like, whoa. Like, he said, I can't accept this. This is way too much money. He said, no, I really feel bad because I cost you both your jobs. So this is the least I could do. He said, but I'm going to need a favor from you. Can we do a press conference? Can your wife make can we do the whole bells and whistles on it? Because this is really going to help me get off the bench. So they kind of, they came to a meeting of the minds, which is really what Jacob was trying to do last week. But, it was what it was. But they came to a meeting of the minds, honey. And, of course, Jacob is all happy because he is like, whoo, I'm out the doghouse. So Phil convinces Karissa Charity to meet him, to go with them to dinner. And, Charity is just, anyway. But he tells her, we need her on our side, or we're going to convince, Bob to go along with the plan to make you assistant pastor and blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, oh, okay. I don't know how she don't see. Anyway, she don't see it, honey. She don't see it. So now we have Sophia calling AJ, begging AJ to call her back, and told her that, if you don't call, if you don't come back, my mom could go to jail, and I don't deserve that. And she is crying, honey. I don't deserve that. I didn't do anything in this. Basically, this between you and my mom. I don't deserve to lose my mom over this. And, can you please call me back? Can you please come back so that we can fix this situation? And she tells her mother, I'm not going back to Hampton. Because, school hadn't started yet. She was going to one of those, pre-programs, those little summer programs you go to before you start college. I did that. I went to one of those little programs. And she was like, look, I done half the program. I'm going to just come on back and be with you during all of this. And, and Grace was like, no, you need to go to school. Don't give up. Don't give up your program because of this. And she said, no, this is where I need to be. If I didn't go back, what would that make me? Now, for real, part of you want to stay because you and Dante, that's his name, you and Dante done got this new little love thing going on, because Dante sort of talked to Jacob about it too, but he kind of was like, well, it's still kind of new. I'll let you know when I know, kind of thing. I was like, now, one minute he was talking about how the bar was gonna be full of honeys, and now in the next breath he talking about this new boo thing he working on. But whatever, I guess that's what they do, honey. But but Sophia kind of threw me off too, because 3 weeks ago you was you was damn near cussing your mama out. Now you boo-hoo crying, talking about I can't lose you. These churn. Honey, these churn, they go from A to Z on a dime. But anyway, so we see that Lady May. No, actually, before we get there, Karissa goes to Lady May, and Lady May lets her know that she cleaned that safe out. She lets her know she on to her. And she also told her, she said, look, I'm only going to tell you this, not because it's any of your business, but because you really should already know this already. But the house is divided equally among all 3 of my children. So, boom, there you go. So she goes to, Karissa ends up going to Grace first to say, look, can you buy us out? And Grace was like, well, I might have a little bit of money laying around, but this just seems kind of weird. Like, are you really sure this is what you want? Because this seems really rushed and a little bit weird. Like, what's really going on? And, Carissa's like, look, I just got to get out of here. Me and your mama we just don't see it for each other. I just need to go. Like, this is just not where I need to be. This is not my place. And she says, well, you have that kind of money? And Grace was like, I got a little bit of change. She said, well, where you get that kind of money from? That is not your business. What is wrong with Karissa? You don't ask people where they get their money from. That is not your business. Maybe she invested it in stocks and bonds. What the hell? So Grace is going to say, well, how much were you looking for? She said, well, I easily figured that our share of the house could be $1 million. Grace was like, what? She said, well, we'll take $500,000. She said, hell, anything over $250,000. And I'm like, you are really coming off desperate. Like, it is really not looking good. It is really not a good look for you. But I'm assuming Grace agreed to give her the money, honey, because we didn't really hear too much more about that. Connie goes on down to the church and lets Philip and Judy, whatever child name is, know that she's being blackmailed. And Julie is like, are you serious? Like, what kind of people are we dealing with that they are blackmailing people? And of course, Phil is sitting looking like the kid who ate the canary, or the cat that ate the canary, because he just got done blackmailing Grace. So everybody blackmailing everybody. And they were like, well, what will make it go away? Like, what is it that they want? They want a 60-40 split. They don't want a 50-50 split. 60-40 split in favor of the original Deacon board. So Julie was like, fine, we'll make it happen. That's fine. So but she said, I'm pretty certain that they got that information from Corinne. So she promptly goes and fires Corinne. Julie does. Promptly fires Corinne. And then she bursts in on Grace. And it's like, whose side are you on anyway? What is going on? And Grace is like, what are you talking about? Because Grace doesn't know that the bishop blackmailed Connie. Like, she doesn't know what happened. And I guess Julie believes her that she really didn't know. Because she was like, before I can help you, you got to tell me what I'm helping you about. Like, what are you talking about? But, and neither here nor there, honey. She tells Grace, never mind, and she walks out, but she's got this real crazy demonic look on her face. Like, it's something wrong with this woman. Like, it's beyond not trusting her. Like, I think she, like, stalkerish. Like, Charity, I think you in danger, girl. Charity, she wants your man. And I think you in danger. But neither here nor there. Back down to the cottage, Nikki, Zora, and Sophia down to the cottage, honey. And Nikki and Sophia just don't see it for each other. Now, Sophia kind of got a little battery in her back because she knows she kind of, messing around with Dante behind the scenes. But, she wasn't feeling Nikki anyway, which I think made it easier for her to be doing what she's doing with Dante. Now, Dante is having the soft opening of his bar, and Nikki is in her feelings because she was like, dang, I ain't even get an invitation. Like, I know we ain't together no more, but I designed that whole bar. Like, I should have gotten an invitation. And so she starts talking about I should just go anyway. And her and Sophia keep kind of go back and forth a little bit. And Sophia's like, you know what? I'm out. And, Zora was like, I thought we were going to order in and, kind of chill out here. She was like, I'm not hungry. Now, what was interesting was she left the house in one outfit. She showed up in another outfit. Now, once she left, the ladies decided, Nikki and Zora decided that they were going to crash the party. They were going to go to the soft opening. They get to the soft opening, honey. And who was booed up with Dante? Sophia. They were like, oh, I thought you weren't hungry. Honey, we see a side of Sophia that we didn't even know existed. Honey, Sophia was ready to buck. Sophia hit Nikki with the, and what? So what if I don't feel like it? So what if I am? Honey, her and Nikki was about to go at it. Zora, had to step in the middle and break it up. But they was about to go back and forth, honey. And they had to get security to pull Zora and Nikki out of there. Now, the next morning, Zora going to confront Sophia and was like, what was that about last night? And Sophia was like, I don't have to explain or justify myself to you. And she was like, okay, yeah, but, I'm not understanding, like, what you did was foul. She was like, what was foul about it? I don't know Nikki. Nikki ain't my friend. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't owe her anything. I said, well, she kind of got a point. Just a little bit. So then, Zora had the nerve to call her a hoe. I said, Zora, pot, meat, kettle. What? How do you have the audacity to call anybody a hoe? Neither here nor there, honey. Neither here nor there. Back down to the main house. Karissa done got the candlelight. She's sitting there in the negligee. When Jacob get home, honey, she said, I got some good news. Jacob said, I got some good news too. So they share their news and then they have a nice little evening, honey. They getting it in all night. Because he done told her about the check for the school and she done told him about the money. So I guess Grace agreed to give her the money so that they can, get up out that house, honey. Downstairs, while that's going on downstairs, the bishop, Lady Mae, and Grace are meeting about what their next move is. They haven't heard from AJ and basically her time is about to be up. Now, Lady Mae was like, look, and that's when she found out that the bishop had blackmailed Connie. And, Grace was like, are you serious, right? Like, really? You blackmailing people? Like, that's what we doing now? Lady Mae said, look, he ain't listened to me about that, but you listen to me. You go in front of that church and you tell them your story. And Bishop was like, are you serious? She said, there's not a mother in that room that won't understand why Grace did what she did. She said, you tell them your story from conception to what happened with the police. You tell your whole story and everybody will be on your side. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? She probably got a good point. Like, I'm listening to her and I'm like, that's a pretty good point there. Like, ain't nobody about to condemn nobody about to condemn her about that. And he said, well, what about the police? If the police reopen, she said, ain't no police. She said, the police ain't about to put her in jail over that. Like, come on. Like, that ain't about to happen. She said, but but that will give you, the whole church will be on your side. So, clearly Bishop doesn't agree. And Bishop tells her to follow your heart. Lady May said, you follow what I said. And poor Grace is sitting there trying to figure it all out, honey. Down to the restaurant while all this is going on. Charity said she wanted sushi. Julie said she wanted steak. He done took them down to the Japanese hibachi grill so they could get whatever the hell they wanted, okay? And Julie making smart comments talking about something. Look at you figuring it all out. You you got a steak and sushi, keeping everybody happy. And he was like, yeah, well, gotta figure out a way to keep everybody happy. And Julie was like, well, you certainly know how to keep me happy. Charity was like, huh? She said, what's going on up in here? Phil was like, oh, nothing. She ain't mean nothing by it. Charity said, I'm about to pick that knife up and sushi somebody up in this piece like a ninja if you don't tell me what's good. So they end up telling her that they used to date or whatever. So they get in the car and Charity was like, look, I just blew up my whole life for you. Please tell me I'm not a fool. And Philip was like, what you talking about? And, he finessed her. He sweet talked to her. And by the time it was all over with, honey, he done told her that he loved her. And that's it. He gave her the key to his apartment and was like, look, if you don't know who I am and you questioning me, here, take this key. She was like, what is this the key to? It's the key to my apartment. Feel free to go by whenever you feel like it and snoop until your heart is content. But all you're going to see is pictures on the refrigerator of you from the first time we met. And then you just going to see my prayer list of all the things I want to give you. Honey, I said, this man, if he don't know how to sugarcoat something, and next thing you know, honey, Charity done melted in his hands, and everything is all good over there again. So, the Greenleafs are headed to church, honey. Now, before they leave, Karissa gets another phone call from Fernando, and she said, look, will you please stop calling me? Because, I guess she done got what she wanted, and her and Jacob are all good again, so she don't need her little piece on the side. Fernando said, he said, well, don't you want to know about the house? She said, we didn't get the house. She said, no. He said, no. I'm talking about the house that you're sitting in right now. He said, don't you want to know about what I've learned about that house? And that's where they left it. So who knows what he done told her. I'm sure something to do with the deed and whose name is on the deed or whatever. Now back down to the church, we see Julie talking to Phil. And of course, Phil is pissed off because she was like, I hope I didn't cause any problems last night. He was like, yeah, right. You knew she didn't know. You were trying to cause problems, but don't worry about it. That little fire, he said, I put that fire out you tried to ignite. She said, well, that's all well and good because you got to keep Charity on our side anyway. And he was like, what you mean? She said, because I finally got a chance to read those bylaws, and the senior Greenleaf has a deciding vote in case there's a tie. And even though Grace is assistant pastor, Charity has the most seniority because she's been working at the church the longest. So she would have the seniority in case of a tie. She said, so when the vote hits the table, even if it's not, we know we got Connie on our side. So that 60-40 don't mean anything. It's going to end up being 50-50 anyway. And Charity will be the deciding vote. He said, well, what is it that we're going to be voting on? She talking about something that's for me to know and you to find out. You just keep her happy. I said, oh, Lord. So that daggone Julie know more than what she thinks she know. So Grace gets ready to get up and preach, honey, and she get ready to tell her story. And she tells the church to turn to Luke. And she getting ready to tell her story. She getting ready, because she's starting with Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he was praying the night before he knew them soldiers was coming to get him, honey. And that's where she was getting ready to start her sermon. Next thing you know, who come walking in the back door? AJ. Now, this is where I would have done something different. I'm going to tell you, and of course, it threw her off, and she got the fumbling and lost her place and all this good stuff. But see, this is what I would have done. She said, well, church, we got to change. We're having a change of playing today, I got something to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I would have done. I'd have went to the story of the prodigal son. And I would have started talking about the prodigal son. And then I would have pointed to him in the back of the church and said, my son is home. Now, that's what I would have done. Next thing you know, though, what Grace did was she resigned. She said, effective immediately, I will no longer be senior pastor. Julie said, what is she doing? Phil told me something. I'll fill you in later. I said, oh. And that's where they left us, honey. So next week is the finale. I don't know what y'all heard. Some of y'all was in my comments talking about something. Y'all heard it was going to be a 17 episode season. They said next week is the finale. So maybe they split it up into maybe they're going to do a mid-season break type thing. And they're going to come back in March or April. I don't know. But we will see what they're going to do. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.